The city of Jera Prime was not made for the weak. Tall silver towers touched the sky, but down below, on the ground, things were different. The poor lived in shadows. And in one of those shadows, a mother named Lyra held her child close. Her arms shook. Her skin was pale and rough. Her son, Kale, was no more than 6 years old. He hadn't eaten in 2 days. His lips were dry. His eyes were half open. He whispered, "Mama, I'm hungry." But Lyra had no food. The shops around them were full of food, bright fruits, hot soup machines, shelves full of sealed meals. But Lyra had no credits. No one helped beggars in Jera Prime. No one looked twice at a hungry alien mother. Today, Lyra had made a choice. She would steal. Just once. For Kale. She watched the market from behind a broken wall. Her eyes followed the guards, the cameras, and the stall closest to her. It sold small nutrient bars, basic but enough to fill a child's belly. She waited for the right moment. Then she moved. Her steps were quick, soft. She slipped between 2 shoppers. Her hand reached out. Her fingers grabbed one bar. She hid it under her shawl. She turned to leave. "Stop!" a robotic voice shouted. Her heart froze. A camera had seen her. The seller pointed at her. 2 armored guards turned and began walking her way. Lyra ran. She held Kale tightly, running between buildings. But the guards were fast. They had boots that pushed them forward with jets. She had nothing but her bare feet. They caught her near a closed shop. A guard grabbed her arm. Another took the bar from her shawl. "Theft," one said, "punishable by removal or labor. Child will be taken to state care." Lyra fell to her knees. She begged, "Please. He's just hungry. I had no choice." The guards didn't listen. They pulled her up roughly. Kale cried. People passed by and watched, but no one helped, until someone did. "Let her go," said a calm voice. Everyone turned. A man stood nearby, tall with a simple black coat. Human. His hair was short. His eyes were tired but kind. "And who are you?" asked the guard. "My name is Darian Cole," he said. "I'm a citizen of Earth. She's with me." "She stole food," the guard replied. "Do not interfere." "I will pay," Darian said. He stepped forward and pulled out a small chip. He tapped it against the scanner. Enough credits to pay for 10 bars flashed on the screen. "Paid," said the scanner. The guards looked at each other. One said, "This is not your concern." "It is now," Darian said. They released Lyra. She fell forward, holding Kale. The guards gave one last look, then walked away. Lyra didn't speak at first. She was too shocked. Darian knelt beside her. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "Why did you help me?" "Because no one else would," he said. He looked at Kale. "He needs food. Come with me." Lyra looked unsure, but something in Darian's voice felt safe. She nodded. They walked through narrow streets until they reached a small shelter. Darian gave them clean water, warm food, and soft blankets. Kale ate quickly, eyes wide. Lyra cried, silently. "Thank you," she whispered. "Rest now," Darian said. "We'll talk later." But outside the city wasn't silent. Word of what happened began to spread. A human had defended a thief. A human had protected an alien. And not everyone liked that. The human's decision, the next morning in Jera Prime, began with red skies and the sound of patrol ships humming through the clouds. Inside a small metal shelter, Lyra opened her eyes slowly. For the first time in weeks, she had slept without fear. Her son, Kyle, was wrapped in a soft gray blanket, his small body breathing evenly. She looked around the room. It was simple but warm. 1 table, 2 chairs, a small heater in the corner, and standing near the table was the human who saved her, Darian Cole. He was preparing something, a food pack. He didn't notice Lyra watching. "You didn't run," she said softly. Darian turned. "I said I'd help you. I meant it." "But why?" she asked again. "You don't know me." Darian paused. On Earth, my sister once stole bread. She had nothing. My parents were gone. A stranger helped her. If he hadn't, she might have died. Lyra lowered her head. I was ready to be taken. I thought it was over. It's not, Darian said. But things are going to get harder now. The city knows what happened yesterday. They don't like it when someone breaks the order. Lyra looked worried. You're in danger because of me. Maybe, Darian replied. But I already made my decision. Outside in the central command center of Jara Prime, Commander Ralk reviewed the security footage. The screen showed Darian stepping forward, protecting Lyra and paying for her theft. An officer spoke beside him. He's a human citizen, high clearance, Earth-trained engineer. He works with tech salvage in Sector 9. Ralk narrowed his eyes. He broke protocol and protected a violator. What should we do? Watch him, Ralk said. He's a problem now. Back in the shelter, Darian sat across from Lyra. Kale was asleep, full and finally at peace. You can't stay here forever, Darian said. You need safety, something permanent. There's nowhere for people like me, Lyra said. This city doesn't want us. Then we'll make a place, Darian said. But first, I want to understand. Where are you really from? Lyra looked at him carefully. Then she spoke. My home was on the edge of the Orion Belt, a small colony. It was peaceful once. Then came the raiders. They took my mate, burned our land. I escaped with Kale in a refugee ship. We were dropped here. And no one helped you? I tried, she said. But when they see our skin, our clothes, they call us dirt. Beggars. Thieves. Darian clenched his fists. That's not right. You can't change this city, Lyra said sadly. Maybe not, Darian replied. But I can change something. Later, that day, Darian walked into the same market. Alone. People stared. Whispers followed. That's the human who helped the thief. Why did he do it? Maybe he's gone soft. Darian ignored them. He walked to the same stall where Lyra had stolen the bar. I want to buy 2 more, he said. The vendor frowned but handed them over. You shouldn't mix with her kind. You shouldn't judge who's hungry, Darian replied. He paid and walked back. But as he turned the corner, 2 figures blocked his path. They wore black suits, tall, strong. Not guards, enforcers, Darian Cole once said. We need to talk. Darian stayed calm. About what? You're creating unrest, the man said. Your action has drawn attention. The council is watching. For helping someone eat? Darian asked. She's not from here. Neither is her kind. This planet has rules. Your behavior threatens peace. Darian smirked. Funny. I thought starving people were the real threat. The enforcer stepped closer. Walk away, or we will make you. Darian met his gaze. Then you'll have to try. That night, Darian returned to the shelter. He didn't tell Lyra everything. Not yet. But he knew the truth. By saving one mother and child, he had declared something powerful. Human kindness was not a weakness. It was a rebellion. And soon the whole city would feel it. Her story, a soft hum, echoed through the walls of the shelter. Morning light leaked through the small vents above, painting gold lines across the metal floor. Lyra sat beside her son, gently stroking his hair. Kale was still asleep, his chest rising and falling slowly. She looked at him with tired eyes, but there was something new in them, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Darian Cole entered quietly, holding 2 hot meal packs. He's still sleeping? Lyra nodded. He needs the rest. Darian handed her the food. You should eat too. She hesitated. Why are you really helping me? She asked again, softly. Darian sat across from her. I told you, I've seen people suffer. I've lost people. I promised myself I wouldn't look away again. Lyra looked down. I used to believe in kindness, but kindness doesn't grow on my world anymore. It burns, just like everything else. Then tell me, Darian said. Tell me what happened. All of it. She took a long breath, then began. I was born on Varanis 4, a colony far beyond the star lanes. My people were peaceful, farmers, healers, builders. We lived under blue skies and 3 moons. Kale was born under the second moonrise during a quiet summer. He never cried much, always smiling. Her voice cracked. Then one night, ships came. Dark ships, silent. They landed without warning. Our defenses didn't last long. They weren't soldiers. They were hunters, slavers. They took what they wanted, our crops, our tech, our people. Darian listened closely, his expression hardening. My mate, Alon, was taken. He fought them off while I ran with Kale. We hid underground. I don't even know if he's alive. What about your government? Darian asked. Our leaders begged for help, she said. But no one came. We weren't important enough. We were just a small dot in the stars. She looked him in the eyes now. So I took the last shuttle, bought a fake ID, and landed. Here. Jara Prime. I thought maybe we'd survive, but it was worse. No one wants refugees. No one helps a mother who looks like dirt. Darian leaned forward. You are not dirt. Lyra's hands trembled. I tried to work. Begged on the corner of 5th Street. But when Kale got sick, I had to choose between medicine and food. And then I had nothing left to sell. A long silence followed. Then Darian spoke, his voice low and firm. They want to keep you quiet. Invisible. But you're not. They made a mistake when they let me see you. Meanwhile, at the city council tower, Commander Rock entered a dark room filled with glowing holoscreens. The enforcers were already there, replaying surveillance data of Darian's movements. He visited the market again, one officer reported, spoke with a vendor, purchased food, returned to the woman's shelter. He's building a pattern, said another. Rock studied the footage. He's dangerous. He's an engineer, not a soldier. He's a human, Rock said. And humans have a habit of stirring trouble wherever they go. Back in the shelter, Darian paced the room. We can't stay here, he said. The enforcers found me yesterday, warned me to walk away. They'll come for you, Lyra whispered. Maybe, he said. But if I leave now, you and Kale will be on your own again. I won't let that happen. What will you do? She asked. Darian looked at the child sleeping peacefully. I'm going to speak to someone in the old resistance network. Lyra's eyes widened. You're with the resistance? I was, he said. Once, before they called it dead. But some of us are still around. We don't like what Jara Prime has become. Won't they arrest you? She asked. Maybe, Darian said. But there's something worse than being arrested. What? Doing nothing. That night, Darian left the shelter wearing a dark hood. He walked through narrow alleys and hidden corridors deep beneath the city, into the forgotten parts where shadows still whispered secrets. He knocked twice on a metal hatch. A red light blinked. A door slid open. Inside was a woman with metal arms and glowing eyes. You shouldn't be here, Cole. I need help, he said. A woman and her child. They're being hunted. Then take them off-world, she said. I want to do more, Darian said. I want to show the city what it's ignoring. You're risking too much, she warned. So did we once, Darian replied. Remember? The woman stared at him. Then slowly, she stepped aside. You have one chance, she said. One voice. Make it count. Hours later, Lyra heard the door open. Darian stepped in with fresh bandages, food, and a new ID chip. We're not running, he said. We're going to stand. Lyra looked at him like he was mad, but for the first time since she lost her home, something burned in her chest again. Courage. The uprising starts small. 3 days passed. The skies over Jara Prime remained gray. The city buzzed as usual. Flying transports zipped above. Giant billboards showed smiling council members, and the rich continued their lives far above the streets. But down below, in Sector 9, something was changing. It started with whispers. The human who helped the thief. He's back. He walked into the same market again. He didn't hide. They watched as Darian Cole walked the streets, not with fear, but with purpose. This time, he wasn't alone. He held Cale's hand. Beside him walked Lyra, her shoulders straighter than before. She wore new clothes, simple but clean. Her eyes scanned the streets nervously. Darian guided them toward the same market, the same stall where everything had started. When they arrived, the vendor stiffened. He recognized them. "Back again?" he muttered. "We're not here to cause trouble," Darian said calmly. "We're just buying food." He handed over his credit chip, paid double, took 2 bars and a drink. "Thank you," Darian said, loud enough for those nearby to hear. "Thank you for selling to a mother and her child, for not judging." People looked. Some pretended not to. Others stopped. Then, unexpectedly, an alien girl stepped forward. She looked no older than 16. Her clothes were plain. Her skin had the blue-green tone of the Zari people. She held out a fruit. "For the boy," she said. Kyle blinked, then took it. "Thank you," Lyra whispered. The girl smiled. "My brother was hungry once. No one helped him. I wish someone had." Darian looked around. Others were watching now, some with interest, some with disgust, but a spark had been lit. The next day, another merchant gave Cale a small packet of dried sweets. The day after, a woman dropped off old clothes for Lyra. It was small, quiet, but real. At the same time, trouble was growing. Commander Ralk stood before the High Council, a circle of 6 robed figures who ruled over Jara Prime. "The human continues to stir sympathy among the lower levels," Ralk reported. "We've confirmed small gatherings, donations, minor protests. He's just one man," one counselor said. "One man with a story that spreads," Ralk replied. "Remove him quietly," said another. "No noise." "If we act too harshly," Ralk warned, "we may prove his point." They debated, argued, but finally agreed. Watch him, wait for a mistake, then strike. Meanwhile, inside the old resistance hideout, Darian met with the woman with metal arms. Her name was Nesta. "You're making waves," she told him. "People are noticing, the system's shaking." "It's not enough," Darian said. "We need something bigger." "Like what?" "A public message," he said. "Something no one can ignore." "Dangerous," Nesta warned. "Necessary," he replied. Later that night, Darian filmed a short message from the shadows. His voice was steady, his words clear. "This is Darian Cole. I'm a human citizen. I work in Jara Prime. Last week I watched a mother steal food to feed her child. The system called her a thief. I call her a survivor. If you believe no child should starve, speak. If you believe mercy is not a crime, act. We are many. They are few." Nesta uploaded the message into the city's open feed. It was disguised to look like a glitch in the news system. Within 2 hours, the video spread across Jara Prime. It was played in taxis, flashed on old terminals, shared by workers in hidden comms. Millions saw it. Some laughed, some grew angry, but many listened. Then came the threats. Darian received a warning on his comm unit. "You've broken protocol. Return to Sector Command immediately." He knew what it meant. Arrest. Silencing. Lyra begged him not to go. "They'll hurt you." "If I don't go," he said, "they'll come for us all." She touched his arm. "You've already changed so much." "Not enough," Darian said. "Not yet." He walked into the city center. Guards surrounded him. Citizens watched as he was taken. No words, no weapons, no resistance, just silence. But that silence screamed. Hours later, Nesta played a new video. Secretly recorded. It showed Darian being questioned. Calmly, bravely, he spoke. "You call it law. I call it cruelty. No mother should be punished for feeding her child. If that makes me guilty, then I accept it. People cried watching it. Others clenched their fists. And somewhere, deep inside Jara Prime, someone else whispered, "We need more humans like him." Marked as a traitor, Jara Prime had seen rebels before. Angry protesters, criminals in back alleys, fighters with weapons. But this time, it was different. This time, the rebel was a man who had spoken calmly and made the world listen. And now, he was gone. Lyra sat in the corner of the shelter holding Kale tightly. She hadn't slept. Her eyes were red. Her hands shook as she waited for any message, any sign of Darian. But there was only silence. The city was quiet too. Too quiet. The market still opened. The ships still flew. But people whispered, "Where did they take him? He only helped a child. Is it a crime now to care?" Deep beneath the surface, in a hidden prison made of thick steel and soundproof, whilst Darian Cole sat in a dark room. He wore no chains, but he didn't need them. 2 guards stood at the door. In front of him sat Commander Rolk. "You think you've started something?" Rolk asked. "You've started nothing." Darian didn't answer. Rolk leaned forward. "You're a human. You had status, power. You threw it away. For a beggar and her brat." Darian's jaw tightened. "I gave it up for something worth more." Rolk slammed the table. "You broke the law." "I broke silence," Darian said. "You call it peace, but it's just fear. You are marked now," Rolk said. "You will be stripped of your status, exiled from Earth networks. No one will trade with you. No one will protect you." Darian's voice stayed calm. "I don't need protection. They do. The council voted in secret. They called it justice. But it was fear. Fear of what his words could become." 2 days later, the verdict was broadcast, publicly. Darian Cole, former citizen of Earth, is hereby stripped of all rights and privileges under the Interstellar Accord. He is guilty of disrupting order, inciting rebellion, and aiding fugitives. He is to be exiled beyond the outer ring, effective immediately. The message spread through every level of the city, and with it a single image. Darian standing tall, head high, as he was led away in cuffs. But they had miscalculated. They thought fear would silence him. Instead, it lit a fire. In Sector 9, Lyra stood before a crowd. Her body trembled, but her voice was steady. "You all saw what he did, not for himself, for me, for Kale, for every one of us who was forgotten." Someone shouted, "What can we do?" "Speak," she said. "Stand. Don't look away." The crowd grew. People brought food, supplies. They helped each other, and then they began to march. Within a day, protests rose in 6 districts. They called it the Mercy Movement. Simple words. Feed, not punish. Signs appeared across walls. Old resistance groups started waking up. And still, Darian remained missing. Meanwhile, in a black transport ship headed toward exile, Darian sat in silence, but he wasn't alone. Next to him sat Nesta, the woman with metal arms. She had hacked the system. "You're not going to exile," she said with a grin. Darian blinked. "What?" "You're going to a safe zone. Off-grid, resistance stronghold." "How?" he asked. "You gave them a voice," she said. "Now they're giving you a chance." The guards were resistance in disguise. The plan had been in motion since the trial. Hours later, deep in the hidden canyons beyond Jara Prime's edge, the ship landed. Darian stepped onto dusty ground, eyes wide. Before him stood dozens. Humans, aliens, hybrids, all rebels, all watching him. "You're the one who lit the spark," said a tall woman. "We've been waiting for someone to believe again." "I didn't start a revolution," Darian said. "You didn't have to," she replied. "You became the reason for one." Back in the city, Commander Rolk watched the news feeds in anger. "We should have erased him," he growled. A counselor replied. "Instead, you made him a symbol." And somewhere in a quiet alley, a boy named Kale looked up at his mother. "Will we see him again?" Lyra knelt beside him, holding his hand. "Yes," she whispered. Heroes always return. The cost of kindness, a cold wind blew through Jara Prime. Dust rolled through the empty market streets. Giant billboards that once displayed council messages now flickered with static. A quiet unease covered the city, like a storm waiting to break. Inside the city's upper towers, the council met again. No longer calm. We failed, said one. We turned one man into a movement. They march in every sector, another added. Humans and aliens together. Commander Ralk stood at the center. Then we end it. Now. In the resistance hideout beyond the canyon, Darian Cole stood before a war table, maps and holograms, glowing under dim lights. Nesta tapped commands into the console. You've become their voice, she said. But now they want to erase it. How bad is it? Darian asked. They've declared martial control, Nesta said. They're arresting anyone who mentions your name. They've shut down food lines, burned down safe shelters. Darian's fists clenched. They're starving people, just to prove they're right? They want the city afraid again, Nesta replied. They're trying to break you. Darian took a breath. Then let's show them we won't bend. Back inside Jara Prime in the poorest district, Lyra stood with a group of volunteers. She now wore a cloth band over her shoulder, marked with the symbol of mercy. 2 open hands. She no longer hid. She no longer begged, she now led. We have food today, she told a line of children. Only 1 meal each. Share it. Protect each other. A man rushed toward her. Guards are coming, patrol squads, with orders. Lyra's heart pounded. How many? 3 units and drones. For a moment, fear returned. Then Kale, standing by her side, tugged her arm. He wouldn't run. Her eyes met her son's. You're right, she whispered. Moments later, when the guards arrived, they found something unexpected. Not a riot, not fear, but a wall of citizens, hundreds of them, standing hand in hand, silently guarding the food tent. They didn't shout. They didn't move. They just stood. One child placed a flower on the front line. Commander Rock watched through a drone feed. This ends now, he barked. He gave the order. The drones began to advance. Then something happened. A signal cut through the feed. The screens blinked, then turned white. And a voice echoed, I am Darian Cole. You tried to silence kindness. You tried to make fear louder than hope. But you failed. This world belongs to all. Not just the strong, not just the rich. Every voice matters. Every child matters. Every act of kindness matters. The screen cut to video. Darian standing tall in front of hundreds of resistance members. Behind him flew the new banner of unity, half blue, half gray, marked by the mercy symbol. In the streets of Jara Prime, people cheered. In hidden rooms, rebels, prepared, and on every wall someone painted one word, enough. The council panicked. We must crush this, one shouted. Then crush me, came a voice at the door. They turned and saw Lyra. She stepped into the chamber alone, eyes fierce. I'm not afraid anymore, she said, and I'm not alone. Outside the council tower, crowds gathered. The guards stood frozen, unsure whether to obey or to join the people. Then, one by one, the guards dropped their weapons. Back in the canyons, Nesta smiled as new reports flooded in. They've lost control. Darian nodded. Because they forgot the strongest power isn't fear. What is it then? Someone asked. He looked out at the rising sun. Kindness. But kindness always came with a price. As the people rose, the council ordered one last strike, a missile targeted at the resistance hideout. Silent. Fast. Deadly. Nesta saw it first on the radar. Incoming strike. We have less than a minute. Chaos filled the base. Darian didn't run. He ran toward the exit. Get the children underground, he yelled. Nesta, take command if I don't make it. What are you doing? She shouted. Buying you time, he said. He activated the external gate and ran straight into the light. From above, the people of Jara Prime watched as fire lit the horizon. A single blast. A mushroom of dust and flame. and silence. Darian was gone. Lyra collapsed when she heard the news. Cale stood frozen, holding a small toy Darian had once given him. He said he'd come back, Cale whispered. Lyra held her son close, tears falling freely. He will, she whispered back. Somehow. He will. A new law. A new hope. The blast from the canyon echoed for miles. Smoke filled the skies for hours. No rescue signal came. In Jara Prime, people gathered in silence. Every screen showed the same message. Unauthorized military strike. Resistance. Location destroyed. There were no names mentioned, no faces shown, just silence. But everyone knew. Darian Cole was gone. The city mourned. For a man they had never met. For a kindness they had once feared. For a hope that now burned in ash. Lyra didn't speak for 2 days. She walked to the food tent every morning, led the mercy movement, fed the hungry, comforted the broken. But inside, something was missing. At night, she sat with Cale under the old transit arch. He gave everything for us, she said. Cale looked up. He gave us you too, Mama. But Darian's death did not break the people. It became their shield. His story spread beyond Jara Prime, to outer colonies, refugee planets, and distant human settlements. They called him the man who chose mercy. Poems were written, songs sung, holograms drawn on walls across galaxies, and, slowly, power began to shift. Under pressure from other worlds, the High Council of Jara Prime faced public trials. Commander Ralk was arrested. Half the council resigned. Citizens demanded change. On the 15th day after Darian's death, a new law was passed. No child of any species shall go hungry. Food, shelter, and basic care are now rights, not privileges. It was called the Cole Amendment. Nesta, who had survived the blast deep in the tunnels, returned to the city. She walked into Lyra's shelter, bruised but smiling. We made it, she said. Lyra nodded. You did? No, Nesta said. We did. A year later, Kyle ran through the same marketplace where his mother was once arrested. Now, bright banners of peace flew from rooftops. Open kitchens served free meals. Humans and aliens worked together. Lyra was no longer just a mother. She was now the voice of the Mercy Coalition. A movement spread across 10 cities and growing fast. But every night before sleep, she placed a single light in the window, for him. On the edge of the galaxy, a small medical ship drifted through space. Inside, a man lay in stasis, wrapped in healing fluid, heart weak but beating. The ship's log showed, subject Darian Cole, status, critical. Location, Class F escape pod, recovered post-blast. He was found 2 weeks after the strike, thrown far from the canyon, barely alive, shielded by a broken emergency gate. No one had known. Until now, on the 2nd anniversary of the Mercy movement, a ship docked quietly at Jara Prime. No cameras, no officials, just a man in a plain coat walking through the city, unseen. He arrived at the food center. Children laughed around him. Workers smiled and passed him without a second look. And then, at the center of the plaza, he saw her. Lyra stood beneath a giant statue of open hands. She was stronger now, taller, unshaken, proud. Cale was beside her, helping an elder walk. Darian watched them for a moment, a soft smile on his lips. Then Cale turned. Froze. Mama, he whispered. He came back. Lyra turned slowly. Her hands rose to her mouth. She ran forward, her eyes wide, heart racing. Darian. He opened his arms, barely able to speak. I told you, he whispered. Heroes always return. They embraced beneath the statue, and around them people gathered, smiling, crying, cheering. In that moment, no one saw a fugitive, no one saw a rebel. They saw the man who changed everything, with one simple act of kindness.